And welcome to Boomer Live. And we are back again for yet another stream. And of course, we are going to be talking about Chennai Super Kings, who are off the mark in IPL by getting those 2 points, two valuable points. Game did go pretty close, but Chennai were important enough to close that down. And of course, it is mega points. Ultimately, it had to come down to MS Dhoni's 12 runs, which was the winning factor between Chennai Super Kings and Lucknow Super Giants. In hindsight, definitely, it looks like it was those two blues which really put Lucknow Super Giants in the back foot as well. Oh, what a game of cricket. Chennai Super Kings continuing from where they left off in Gujarat. The same template. Ruturaj Gaikwad again on the move alongside Devin Conway. And you saw Shivam Dubey, Rayudu, Moin Ali, everybody chipping in at the right point for Chennai Super Kings to get that score to 217, highest score for this season. And of course, Lucknow Super Giants did fighting pretty well. You can see it post at 205, but it was CSK's who really stepped up Moin Ali once again by picking up those important wickets. Last time around, we didn't make a complaint, and Moin Ali did not get enough overs to ball, but now it was just Moin Ali putting a statement as to why did you ignore me last match. I've Jaren with me. Jaren, how did you make up this match?
I'll be very honest. I think the happiness is already there on my face. Just a classic CSK win in Chepauk. I think they've won 41 matches now out of 57 that's been played, and that's just incredible record to have. And hence the yellow glow in the background. So pretty happy though. I think it did start off in that same fashion, right? Where the power play, you had two batters who were very aggressive, and even though both of them couldn't really, get a bigger score than they would have liked because they just looked in that phenomenal touch. But you would still say that was enough. That was great enough. And one thing that really went well for CSK, I mean, Rituraj and Conway, both the kind of batters they had, they would have loved to, bat to really change that game, really take the game by the scruff of his neck, score a 80 plus score. But even then, those two wickets fell. They never really got petrubed. And Shivam Dubey did really come good, and I think this is exactly the role that Shivam Dubey will get. The kind of role that the likes of Sam Curran used to have in this team. Wherever Dhoni wants a boundary, he will send in Shivam Dubey or a bunch of boundaries. And today he got it done. Um, and then again, Moin Ali, Ben Stokes though will feel like he was a little. He probably let his team down a little because I think this is again a pitch where you want to be someone who played down the ground. The moment batters were forced to play across batted shot, they really struggled, and that's where Ben Stokes shot on a very full delivery, which he could have really thumbed down the ground towards the mid off. I mean, the
Yeah,
long off region, trying to play a
absolutely.
slog sweep, sort of a hoik around the cow corner. That was a bit unnecessary. Probably the pressure got to him,
Hmm.
but MS Dhoni, man, he's just rewinding the clock. 20th over, he's the daddy.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, he's just now having a role defined as well as to when he has to walk down, and his intent is pretty clear. He doesn't have to think twice. Doesn't have to go out there and try to manufacture innings. When you have such clear mind, then you can produce such quality knocks. Last season, you did see that with Dinesh Karthik as well. Have Sandeepani joining as well. Welcome, Sandeepani, on the show. But let's talk about CSK's win, isn't it? Because I think we have to talk about Ruturaj Gaikwad to start off with. What a phenomenal player. I mean, this season is really unleashing his power hitting ability, which we have not seen in previous season. And that's so important for any modern day T20 batters to have that game of uplifting your strike rate by a considerable amount of margin. And that for me was the changing point for Chennai Super Kings in the last couple of games.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, both Rituraj and Devon Conway, whenever they both of them have come good together as well. When there is an opening partnership excelling for CSK, we know CSK has been one of the most successful teams. Whenever you have that opening stand or the number three, either of the top three going on to score big, you have CSK put up a great total, and we always know that they have the bowling lineup to defend a total put up on Chepauk. So not the pitch that we expected. Especially I expected for Chepauk, but the spinners picked up a lot of wickets. Ravi Vishnu picked
Yeah.
up three. Moin Ali picked up four. Talking about Rituraj Gaikwad, I think he has sort of realized that to get into this Indian team now you have to up that power game of yours because you have a lot of players like KL Rahul who sort of played 30 runs or 25 balls, and that has not been helping their cause for opening for Team India. And I think Rituraj Gaikwad applying this approach will definitely benefit him in getting a call up for the international side, national side as
Yeah,
well.
Absolutely.
So that is one plus for them. And then Devon Conway as usual, the ever so dependable Devon Conway coming in and scoring some good runs. And I can see that CSK are heavily dependent on Shivam Dube for some reason, coming in at number 3, coming in at
Yeah.
number 6 at
I
crucial.
personally think that should be Ben Stokes who should be doing that more than Shivam Dube, because now you're not getting anything out of Ben Stokes. Just as a fielder, that's what you're getting. I don't think he's in full fitness to ball. And if you're going to play him at number 5, number 6, it's of absolute no use for this team, isn't it?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
exactly.
he was supposed to slot in number 4, and he did. There was a press con. I mean, not a press conference, but an interview rather, where just before the match, where he was asked the same question, what his role in the team is going to be, and he said he's going to be number 4. But I probably think also the reason why they did not send him is because the likes of Ravi Bishnoi was operating at that point in time. They didn't
Yeah.
want to expose him to the leg spinner who's very good against left-handers, and we know that Ben Stokes is someone who's struggles a little bit when it comes to reading the pitch of the ball. When it comes to as a spinner, he gets sometimes stuck on the back foot or stuck on the front foot, and we've seen that happen in the last game as well, where he was playing. So I think that was also the reason why. And maybe Dhoni also felt that Shivam Dube is a little better when it comes to attacking Ravi Bishnoi than maybe someone like Abish Khan or Mark Wood, who would come towards the end of the over, because they would have planned a similar situation for him. Having said that,
Absolutely.
that's where you really have to question KL Rahul's captaincy. He must have seen the previous game. I hope KL Rahul sees the previous games of his opposition teams. If that's the case, then he saw that there was something that happened to Shivam Dube. The moment he saw Shivam Dube was looking in fine touch, you should have brought Mark Wood in. I can understand that you have a set plan, you want Mark Wood to be your bowling, your finishing overs, but if you can get the likes of Shivam Dube, because that was obviously a ploy by Dhoni to throw LSG off track, and that's exactly what happened. Last time it did not work out because the moment Shivam Dube came in, we saw Hardik Pandya being the captain that he is. He stuck to the plan,
No,
brought in the
he did bring Mark Wood there. He did bring Mark Wood from one end. It was Ravi Bishnu and Mark Wood who was operating at that time. But for me, what baffled me was, as there's been a lot of comments on poor captaincy. For me, what baffled me the most was holding back Ravi Bishnoi when he should have used Ravi Bishnoi up front. Maybe if he came in at what, ninth over, by then CSK was almost close to 100, have crossed 100 by then. The damage is already done. That for me was such a laid back captaincy and approach. When you stick on to certain plans, I think it's so important to go with the game situation more often than I know you have certain plans which are set out where you're going to ball certain ballers at certain kind of overs, but you should move away from it. That's where you as a captain comes into the picture a lot more. I know analysts do take these calls. I know coaching staff do take these calls, but you are the captain on the field because you understand the game and you understand the pulse of the game. You understand what the game situation is like more better than anybody who's sitting in the dressing room, and that's why you need to have that captaincy instincts taking over more than what an analyst says. I thought today was a clear case of where they felt, oh, what if there are more left-handers to follow? Let's hold back Ravi Bishnoi and see what happens. You saw when Ravi Bishnoi came. Ravi Bishnoi picked up a wicket straight away, and that's what really baffled me. I think even when Dubey tried to go after Ravi Bishnoi, it's not easy. You might get a couple away, but you will get a wicket. So that for me was really baffling. And to hold Mark Wood again, especially someone like, I know Ruturaj Gaikwad did score a lot of runs, but by the time Mark Wood came to ball, Ruturaj Gaikwad has already said the best way to test someone like Ruturaj Gaikwad is up front with the new ball. That's why he failed last year mostly. So anyway, what do you think of that? That approach by KL Rahul in particular?
Yeah, I think it was a very questionable captaincy call as well. I mean, I totally agree with you on that because Ravi Bishnoi and Mark Wood are two of their main bowlers along with Avish Khan. And still, well, Mark Wood, I understand that you want to use him towards the death overs, but one place where Mark Wood has really excelled over the years has been that like whenever he comes into bowl towards the later half of the power play, the fourth or fifth over, I think that is when he can really be a challenge for a lot of batsmen because you at that moment, if you are the opening batter, you feel that you are set and you can take on the big shots and sort of go after the bowling. But that is when Mark Wood comes in and he is lethal at that point, and then the batters often get out trying to figure out how he is going to go about it. So I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
KL Rahul totally got it wrong, and to bring in Ravi Bishnoi in the 10th over does not really make sense. Even if you want to hold Ravi Bishnoi back, I don't know why he was holding Ravi Bishnoi back for which batter, because it was always speculated that Ravi Bishnoi having a good record at MH Chidambaram. I think he had played one game, picked up 2 wickets, and he had a great record in the last fixture against CSK as well. I think all the bowlers were going for runs, and Ravi Bishnoi was that pick of the bowler for them. So
Hmm.
to hold him back till the 10th over did not really make any sense at that point, and employing a part time as well. Krishnappa Gautam did a very good job, yes, in the last game, but today 1 over 20 runs, Kunal Pandya 2 over 21 runs on a pitch that well did not really. There was turn obviously at Chepauk, but well the batsman could actually play through the line and hit you for boundaries like we saw what Puran and Kyle Myers did in the second innings as well.
Yeah.
So, having said all that, I think Ravi Bishnoi latest he should have been employed was in the seventh over, because we see a lot of captains do this to keep their main spinner, like
I
protect their
think,
main spinner from the
yeah,
power play. But if you are protecting a spinner from the power play, he should be there by the seventh over at the most. I mean, not after
I'll just
seventh
add
over.
a point, Sandipani, there. You mentioned why Krishnappa Gautam was brought in. My question was rather, why did you bring in the likes of Deepak Hooda? It was a perfect pitch for him. Deepak Hooda is a bowler who's really good when it comes to flighting. He doesn't turn the ball as much, but he's someone who likes to flight the odd one out there.
Yep.
I know he
Yep.
has a quick action, doesn't turn the ball enough, but on such a pitch, for example, in the second innings, you saw the reason why Dhoni did not ball Jadeja for so long was also, there was obviously left-handers in place, but also because the reason why Mitch Santner and Moeen Ali got that opportunity right away, Moeen Ali got that opportunity is because he realized that on his pitch, ballers who can vary their pace, ball very slower, will do a lot better. Not to say that
Yeah.
Ravindra Jadeja can't do it, but he really prefers to ball quicker in the white ball format than
Yeah.
test match. You would still throw in the ball, but white ball format sometimes he tends to really dart the ball in.
Right.
That's where I felt
Yeah, and
Deepak Hooda
also
not getting
just
a chance was
yeah,
very
and also
questionable.
talking about Deepak Huda's bowling, it is very surprising. Neither the Indian team bowls him. Whenever Rohit Sharma used to pick him, he did not used to give him the ball. Now even KL Rahul has stopped giving him the ball. I think it's either Deepak Huda himself telling the team that yeah, I'm consider myself as a batter rather than a bowler, but still you can definitely use a Deepak Huda at least as a part timer. It's over the years we have seen him bowl lesser and lesser, and this year if you take notice that he hasn't bowled at all, neither for neither in the IPL nor for the international matches wherever India played. So that is a very strange call. If you are picking up Deepak Huda as a finisher for the Indian team and just playing him as a batter, it does not make any sense to me, because Deepak Huda was there in the team to sort of help a Hardik Pandya or a Ravindra Jadeja not being at their best with the like in terms of fitness, so they can he can come in and chip in with 1 or 2 overs with the ball. That was his primary reason to get into the team, along with his batting, of course. So I think if Deepak Huda tries to starts to consider himself as a proper batter, I think that will definitely cause a problem for him getting into the Indian team as well.
Yeah, I mean that's something which is going to be of major concern, and obviously we've seen major weaknesses with Deepak Huda in the recent past as well, which is going to weigh daunt him not now, but when come the next T20 World Cup. The only reason he gets still that preference is that he can maybe ball a little bit. If he's not going to do that, I don't see him get any preference at all.
Also
I
because
mean
in
that's
terms
where we
of
have to talk
defense.
about KL Rahul as well. I mean we did have a comment on Ayush Badoni. I think we have to talk about that. That innings was very very baffling for me. I know he scored 23 of 18 balls, but no intent is the key word over there. Not trying to hit any ball. I know he did try in the 18th, 19th over rather to go after the ball, but by then it was very late. He should have been targeting Tushar Deshpande's over, where he was trying to take singles. I know what school of thought he was thinking. He thought he could get some quick doubles
I get
and
it.
quick, cute singles, but that does not happen, especially in a game like this where the game is going deep and where you need your batter to really take the mantle on, hit some big boundaries. Ultimately, if you look, the two hits was the difference between two teams, right? Those two boundaries. If Ayush Badani would have taken a little bit more risk, if he was 18 ball 35, or if it was 18 ball 37, or 34 at least, that would have been the game. That was the difference ultimately. What did you make of that innings, Jaren? It was quite baffling for me.
Yeah, I mean, especially given the fact that last time we faced CSK, he played a nightmarish innings for us. I remember I was watching the match and all I could do was yell and shout while Ayush Badoni knocked 19 of 9 runs. Baby AB, but he seems to be losing that AB tag. Today, he just seemed like he was trying to, either he was trying to impress the man behind the stumps, trying to tell him that even I can take the game deep, but then there are some times, when you dig a hole so deep that you end up not being able to crawl out of it. That's what it was today. I also felt, to be very frank with him, I also felt Krishnappa Gautam was probably not an ideal partner for him when it comes to his strategy, because I felt his idea was to try and put the fielders under pressure, try score regular deliveries. But Krishnappa Gautam obviously had the I wouldn't blame him as well. Every batter to their own, and both the. I mean, probably Krishnappa Gautam's approach at that point in time was was the better one in hindsight, where he was looking to tonk every ball. So I felt at that point in time maybe him trying to take singles, get off strike, and taking so long to get back on strike was really throwing him off. Not having the confidence to try and clear the boundary. There was one shot that really impressed me where I think it was Tushar Deshpande was. No, I think Hunger Gekka was bowling a very good over, by the way, which we will speak about. He tried to sweep him, a slog sweep, which I think he had done to Bravo in that previous innings he had played. I really thought if he put some power behind it, even that one, there was not any power behind it. And Tushar Deshpande was able to chase it down. A little bit of power, because Hunger Kicker was serious pace. It just seemed like he was a bit tentative playing that shot. So
Yeah.
that's where there's also a possibility that him being the impact sub now has kind of reduced his confidence. He's also not had a very great Mushtaq Ali tournament as people expected him to. People expected him to have the breakout here this time, at least in SMAT, because of the kind of show that he put on. But you have to also realize in the last IPL, after that good innings versus CSK, kind of did slow down. His strike rate is now 132, by the way, which is not that great for a batter who comes at his position.
See, all the more reason I
Absolutely.
feel Ayush Badoni should be at number 4 for Lucknow Super Giants. Like
I mean, I
Ayush
don't
Badoni
agree
is
him
not
to be
your
number
ideal
four.
finisher.
Slimani, why
But
I see he shouldn't be number
yeah,
four. If you want him to be a finisher, let him grow as a finisher there. But my
but
only
that is
blessing
exactly
today
what
for
Lucknow Super Giants tried with him last year as well. I
see
mean,
last
the
game he
first
came
game
up
he was
brilliantly.
no
Let's
no
be honest.
he
Last match he was a
okay no
hero.
no.
7 ball
Let's
18 was
talk
great.
about let's talk about the strike rates, right? In the last season, the first game he won it coming in at number 6, playing that 18 or 17 of 6-7 deliveries, and then pointing the ball in the last 2-3 overs. In the second game, when Lucknow Super Giants lost a heap of wickets early, he came in early and then he played that anchor sort of a knock. And I think that is when he had looked the most stable. And even if you see today's knock, he was not finding it difficult to sort of score 20-30 runs. That is easy for him. It was
I
just that he
mean
was
that
not
that is
getting.
good, but I don't think Lucknow Super Giants really need him to do that. I mean that is going to
No,
definitely
but
hamper Lucknow
see,
Super
if
Giants'
you're
plan
if
as
you're
well.
promoting a Krunal Pandya up at number 5 today, he was number 4 yesterday. Why not a Ayush Badoni at number 4, number 5? Demote Krunal Pandya down at number 7, number 8. That is my point, because Marcus Stoyan is okay. Nicholas Puran, I want Nicholas Puran to come in at either number 4, number 5,
Yeah,
not below
yeah,
that.
Teju, I will talk about that. I have a lot of complaints regarding that. We will talk about it in depth as well.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, you didn't mention about Ayush Badoni. We will talk. I think Ayush Badoni still needs to be figured out a position. I think if Lucknow is entrusting him as a finisher, let him be. But then my only objection is show intent if you're a finisher. I know it's one of the hardest jobs in cricket, especially in white ball format. But if you're showing no intent, that is like giving up the match. And that's exactly what happened today. And you just served the match when you could have absolutely gotten hold of the match, because CSK ballers were under pressure. They were conceding extras. And that's where you should be capitalizing. If it was Mahendra Singh Dhoni, for example, over there, he would have actually sensed that moment and gone after someone like a Tushar Deshpande. And quick doubles and singles do come in play, but then not at that juncture of the game. But let's talk about this, Teju. I absolutely agree to you, because I've been very, very unhappy with what's been happening in IPL. Matches going for 4 hours. What's the difference? Why on earth did you keep a stipulated time period? For what? To tell to the people that you're just doing it, you're doing something great, what you did in the World Cup, and you're not running a show like that? I mean, you're just absolutely making a mockery out of people who are watching it, making a mockery out of everybody. Games going for 4 hours. If White's review is the reason, barely people are taking that, and it's of absolute no use. And you're using at least 5 minutes in that review. Rock and roll, rock and roll. I wonder if the umpires are really blind. Me sitting over here, I think my 80-year-old grandmother can tell that was not an inside edge. But this is just ridiculous, which is happening from IPL, and I hope they change it very soon, because games going for 4 hours is just a bad advertisement for the entire IPL, and at the same time, the viewership really drops down after 11 p.m. Unless it's a nail biting game. What's the whole point? You saw the Sunriser versus Rajasthan game went for 4 hours 10 minutes without any delay, where it was a one-sided game.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say my favorite moment of the episode has to be Abel channeling his inner Jeffrey Boycott. But you have to talk about his 80-year-old grandma dialogue, where he used to do it for every time. It used to be his trademark, where he used to say, "My 80-year-old grandma can do better than that with a walking stick." But yeah, I think I'll agree with you, Abel. Today, though, I was frustrated, to be very honest, not just at the scheduling of it, but also it was very immature-ish bowling. I would say very. I
Then
won't
my question:
blame the
where's the
likes of.
timer at? We used to have a timer for ICC. Where is the timer?
Exactly, every over. I think today the CSK were bowling in the last over with only 4 players. But I think there's one way to go for a table. I will suggest it's going to be very harsh on the bowling side, but and also I think when you're doing this, you have to also look at the batters as well. There are many option times where the batters, try and wait after every ball, take their own time. So I think both sides need to be looked at. So maybe there should be a timer for both the ends, or the umpires at least on field should make the call. But I also believe, because what happens, I think it happens the last 5 overs, right? That one fielder being removed.
I think, yeah, last 5 overs onwards you can
Yeah, I
remove one
believe it should
fielder.
be
But
it
my
should be
point is,
throughout the game
if
able.
that's not
And
also working, then dock off the points from the team like you do
I
in
think for
WTC.
me, best way to go able is do the same thing for all 20 overs. Or if not all 20 overs, give them the first 6 overs. And after the power play, then you bring in that rule. So if you have 4 players outside, and by the sixth over, you have already exceeded time without any any reasonable reason, then in that case, you make it into 3 fielders. So that means the captain is, what do you say? The captain is prepared every over to not go behind, because what happens when by the 14th over you've already exceeded so long? Now this is something that Dhoni is guilty of. I have to tell you guys this. Even when this rule wasn't there, Dhoni used to take a lot of time in the last 5 overs. Maybe that's also part of his tactics to really slow things down. But today you have to blame the bowlers. I'm all right. I can understand Rajwardhan Hangarkekar, younger than me, younger than you. Able. I am assuming he's younger than Sandipani. Sandipani looks very young, but younger than
He's
us
got a
is
power
bowling
cut
that
on.
18. Yeah, I think my compliment to Sandipani was that great, but I have to speak about.
Yeah,
But I
that's
have
true.
to. I have to talk about how Hangarkekar is an 18-year-old ball, 18 year, I mean 20-year-old bowler.
He's 21
Tushar
year old
Deshpande.
and he got age frauded as well. That was a challenge in the court. So let's not talk about his age. Let's keep it
Yeah,
there.
I think as a CSK player, we are all right. We are okay with all those kind of things. We have a
Yeah.
shady issue too. But as I'm talking about, Deepak Chahar is really looking out of sorts. I think there's a comment
I
as
think we
well
had a
about.
comment as well on that.
Yeah, I think a lack of swing is really affecting him. But I think in the
Yeah.
Ahmedabad game, there was a little bit of swing. I think the issue
Hmm.
with him at this point in time, probably it's also that the injury return that he's making, it is understandable that he's taking a lot of time, but that is really hurting CSK, because he's supposed to be their main bowler. They don't have,
Yeah.
CSK does not have a better bowler than Deepak Chahar. He's a senior bowler. Probably it's a little too early in his career to give him that mantle, but that's how CSK management has gone.
Yeah.
So and CSK's always had a foreign bowler. Earlier it was Dwayne Bravo. Before that, we've always had a foreign bowler, and that's where I really thought this time around, we would get a serious pacer. Not to say anything against Magala, but we already have bowlers like Magala. That's one
Yeah.
thing that's really going to hurt CSK. This is most expensive ever match. I mean, expensive ever return in
Yeah.
the CSK shirt in IPL. He's just completely out of sorts and not being able to ball the right length. He balled three
I mean,
wides
I mean,
back to
we
back.
still can give him a lot of time because he's still
Yeah.
getting back after an injury. It's never easy. But Kapil, I'd like to disagrey with you on this because look at Tilak Verma, look at Ruturaj Gaikwad, or I'll just give you a lot more examples. You can just see Jaiswal, for example. All these lads have been part of IPL ecosystem. And these guys are going to only get better because of IPL. I really don't think it's become a hunting ground for foreign talents. Yes, foreigners do benefit out of it, but you just can't deny the fact that the number of players we have gotten over the last couple of years because of IPL as well. A lot of these Indian players, a lot of these players went on to play for India as well. Now, the primary example is Ruturaj Gaikwad. Ruturaj Gaikwad has been playing in the domestic circuit. He's been scoring 150s after 150s for India A prior to 2020, but nobody knew him. But the moment he started playing for
Yeah.
IPL, all of a sudden, okay, Ruturaj Gaikwad is the guy. He wore an orange cap in 2021. Remember that, but nobody remembers the number of runs. He averages more than 55 in Ranji Trophy. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about his average in List A career as well. So I think IPL has given that platform for these players to take it to the next level. Now you're talking about Ruturaj Gaikwad being the opener of Team India in the future. It's primarily because of IPL, because he has taken on a Mark Wood. He's taken on some quality bowlers. And that's why I think I really don't agree with your comment, but I think you are right in pointing out the foreign players thing as well. A lot of these foreign players would like to come to India and showcase their talent as well. That's one of the reasons how they get a reckoning for the national team. For
And I
example,
think
Devol Bruce, Marco Jans
you
is
have to
one of the
also look
prime
at it
examples.
in a way, couple that you know. For example, like Baby de Villiers, Chris Gale, all these players coming in, even Ben Stokes. For example, imagine the kind of influence Ben Stokes can have on the likes of Hunger Gaker. We just spoke
Yeah.
about how his development is going to be key in the age of 20. Ben
I mean, let's
Stokes
talk
has
about
lived
Dwayne
that.
Bravo, right? Leave Ben Stokes. Talk about
Dwayne
Dwayne
Bravo, yeah,
Bravo.
but then you can still argue that he. I mean, yeah, he was a foreign player, but at this point in time, you can argue that he's a foreign coach. If foreign coaches can be brought, you can argue that still.
Yeah.
But as a player, someone like Ben Stokes, if you look at Ben Stokes' career, he was someone who was a player, who was for a long period in time when he was figuring his game. He was a player was confused between improving his bowling or improving his batting. Today
Yeah.
he's done both. He is much more understanding. He's someone who knows what to do, and Rajvardhan Hangarkar would love it. And that's where you have to really, what do you say, really give credit to these players as well. I understand what you're saying. The likes of Devil Brewis, for instance, or the likes of Tristan Stubbs, all these players do get, and a lot of players have improved their spin. A lot of teams have improved their spin playing ability by coming to the IPL. But then I think that's how it is. You have to look at it at that look at also the factor that how it's helped the Indian team. If you look at the past World Cup squad, look at how many players, how many key players were from the IPL, were discovered in the IPL. Even Hardik Pandya was discovered from the IPL. I think someone like Hardik Pandya without IPL would have really struggled in domestic circuit because of the kind of economic issues that he had and a lot of other things. Of course, there was a mentor for him, but then it wouldn't have been easy for him if not for the IPL.
I mean, yeah, I mean, Jen, you're absolutely spot on in pointing that out. I mean, it's a debatable thing. You can say maybe at this point of stage, there are certain fast ballers who are not coming out. Maybe they're depleting off quite quickly. Maybe Avesh Khan is one of the. I mean, you're talking about all rounders per se. I mean, there are how many all rounders are there across the world? There are very few of them, and I think whatever we have found, that's also because of IPL, right? Let's be happy about that. I mean, if there was no IPL, I don't think this many would have at least come through. And I think cricket has also changed where now with impact player as well, I think all rounders thing is just gonna go away even more. A lot of these all rounders are gonna go out of fashion, and that's why I think impact player. That's one negative part about it. Pratiksha, thanks you, Sandipani, for giving Moin Ali as the captaincy tip for the game. But let's talk about another factor, right? Now for Lucknow Super Giants, how do they go about it once Quinton de Kock returns? Because I think they're going to be playing RCB in their third game, if I'm not wrong.
See, I asked
Uh,
this to you last day as well. How do
yeah,
you want to
we
drop
did.
Kyle
We'll
Mayers?
talk about it. But
After
two
today, do you
back-to-back innings.
again want to drop Kyle Mayers?
I mean, you have to drop Kyle Mayers. That's one way to go. But can they drop a
I think
Marcus Stoinis?
I
Can they
think
I
drop a
previously
Marcus
also
Stoinis.
Stoinis?
I felt in
But
after the
if
last game as well, you
see,
can drop a
even if
Marcus
with
Stoinis.
Kyle Myers, the best of him is at top of the order. So will KL Rahul decide to come at number 4?
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
I
he
think
can
what's
do
going to
that.
happen is I think what's going to happen is Quinton de Kock comes in definitely. Probably what's going to happen is Quinton de Kock will most likely play the number 3 spot because he's
I
done
don't
that
think
for
that
South
is
Africa.
just detrimental. I think KL Rahul should play number 3. That is even better.
Yeah.
Quinton de Kock.
But I don't
And
know,
I think
bro.
KL Rahul,
Here's the issue,
KL
right? And
Rahul
I'll
at
tell you
number
why. I
4. I've been
completely agree with
asking for
your
that for way too long. KL
yeah.
Rahul should bat number 4 for this team. Deepak Huda, KL Rahul number 3 is also I'm fine, okay? Deepak Huda, KL Rahul number 4, 5. Quinton de Kock, Kyle Mayers. I think that's the best option for them because Quinton de Kock at 3 or 4 is just not making the most out of him. And KL
Also,
Rahul
But
anyway,
should just
Marcus
got that
Stoinis
the
is
DL
issue
not
number.
with that,
adding any
Abel,
value
is
with the ball
if you
as
look
well.
at KL Rahul as a player, he grabs onto that opening spot like a baby grabbing onto that one finger. It's a grip, it's a death grip. He's not going to let go of that opening spot. I
I
really
think then
hope I
then
and I genuinely think
yeah, we don't see him come
also
back to Indian team at all in any format.
also I genuinely think able someone like Kyle Mayers is required at the top of the order. Today, for
Yes.
instance, KL Rahul scored 20 of 18. Kyle Mayers is the only reason why they ended up bettering CSK's power play. They would otherwise 20 of 18. Quinton de Kock is a great player. I will not say he's a bad fit there, but the form that Kyle Mayers is, he's too good to be dropped. And KL Rahul, if he's going to open, he needs Kyle Mayers there. So I really hope they. But that's the issue with LSG's camp because I've really seen them go after names and not after roles. We
Yeah.
saw that today as well. where you felt like they went after Krishna Gautam because at least on paper you would say that Krishna Gautam is a better spinner than Deepak Hooda because he at least that's the role he defines himself. But in today's game, Deepak Hooda's the style of spin bowling would have been much more important. So that's where I
I'm
really
totally
think,
surprised why haven't they been not using Amit Mishra? Amit Mishra's record in Chepauk is excellent. And you've not used someone like Amit Mishra. I know you've got so many right-handers, so many left-handers, but come on, man, Amit Mishra, I still think could have been used as an impact sub on a pitch like Chepauk at least. But either way, that's a debatable thing for Lucknow Super Giants. They've made questionable decisions over the last 1 year. One of the major reasons why they did not go deep into the tournament, into qualify number two or into the final, was because of some of the questionable decisions as well. And if they're going to do that earlier on in the tournament, then I really worry where they're going to end up. I know they've already won a game; it's their second game only of the season, but today is the kind of day which you can expect in a high pressure game towards the latter end of the tournament. And that's something which you are doing so early on in the tournament. It's better to correct it now and then move on. Yeah, so I think that's something which we'll talk about as well. Your thoughts, especially now going ahead, what do you reckon should Chennai do? Chennai should go in with the same team, the same approach, or
oh, they are
think it a little
going.
bit?
Even Chennai is the kind of team who has the same impact sub. I mean, MS Dhoni, I won't be surprised if he comes out tomorrow and says, I know each and every shirt that I wear every 7 days. It's decided. The color is decided. He's that organized. He does not like switching and changing. I think this is the team. This is absolutely the team. And you see this, right? The way they bat has changed. CSK before used to take their time in the power play, score at 35, 36, and then it would gradually increase the tempo. But now what CSK is doing is they pack their team with batters and they're going all out. Their idea is either Devin Conway or Rituraj Gaikwad
And
will
they
play.
do realize that they do not have a death bowler, so they have to score that extra 20 runs. And
Yeah,
that is the final amount of margin of victory as well. Today also, MS Dhoni's knock is so underrated. I mean, if, as we did mention at the start of the talk show, how MS Dhoni's those two sixes is so
yeah.
impactful at the end of the day. That was the margin of win as well. Somebody, you reckon now MS Dhoni has accepted that he's going to just come in and just swing the bat like that?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much his role in the team. Apart from captaining the side and keeping, I think he has demoted himself down the order as late as possible, and I think that's just to come in as late as possible, probably in the 17th, 18th, 19th over, and just go after the bowling. No matter you score 5, 6, 10, 15, whatever comes, that is going to be a
But it's
bonus
still
for them.
impactful. I mean, when you have MS Dhoni
Yeah,
at number eight, I
sure.
think any team would just take it. Any team in the world would just have him at number six or somewhere around there. And the way in which he's batting, he still can bat for India in the one day World Cup. If that's the way, if things are going like that. I mean,
If you
how
have
about?
impact subs, sure.
I mean, definitely, man. I mean, look at his fitness. I think he's still got one more season left in him if he's going this way. Uh, MS Dhoni at the age of 45, he's still fitter than a lot of other players. And that's what's going to happen. 4 years down the line, MS Dhoni is still going to be 45, still going to be
Earning more
captain.
than a lot of players.
Absolutely. Jen, what do you reckon? MS Dhoni got one more season for
I
Chennai
think
Super Kings?
I think with the fact that there's impact sub in place, he might play till 50. I won't be surprised.
Yeah. I mean, he's enjoying it now. I think this is where Amazon is absolutely enjoying it. He's colored his hair. He's chilling behind the wickets. Not a lot of pressure. What does he have to prove? He's proven it to everybody. Crowd is behind him. You saw that
Like we
ovation
say,
today when he walked in.
we say in our football podcast that Messi has unlocked football, Dhoni has unlocked cricket. He's won everything.
Absolutely.
Won't be surprised
There's
if he
nothing.
decides to go ahead, win the ILT20 or anything of that sort. But then Dhoni is the kind of player who likes to rest his bat and do farming. So you never know
Yeah,
what he
so
does
that's it.
now.
I think that's really helped, that strength of plowing using his wrist and shoulder. It's coming into effect right now. Let's I mean, that's about it for today's game. I mean, it's been a odd game, but let's talk about tomorrow's game. It's Gujarat versus Delhi Capitals. Delhi Capitals, after taking a hammering, is going to play against defending champions. I think they're going to have David Miller back. I think David Miller is going to be back for the team, and of course, it's
Yeah,
not
I
going to
think
be
they're
easy for
flying.
Gujarat.
All the players are returning to India today. Quinton de Kock, I
Yeah,
think, joins the team today. So
yeah,
he may
and
not
Andre
appear in the
Nokia
selection
should
today.
be back for Delhi Capitals as well. Now, the question for Delhi Capitals is, what is their batting order like? Because they have no idea where to whom to play there. They've got Raman Powell, they've got Riley Russo, they've got Mitchell Marsh, who's not bowling, by the way. So, can they possibly make Mitchell Marsh an opener and make David Warner number three? Because Mitchell Marsh, or will you still go in Mitchell Marsh at number three?
No, I think the batting order is settled. It was just Mark Wood special that destroyed their batting lineup. I would have still liked a better player than Riley Russo in the middle order because Riley Russo is a great player, but he's an opener. He's done that job for South Africa, but then that's also the reason. That's also the spot that really lost him the opportunity in South African team. So I believe that's something that they didn't buy in the auction. So that's out of the window anyway. Riley Russo is the best player in that position. I think this is the best batting lineup. It's just about them coming good. They will be slightly worried probably, but I think they'll be slightly at ease because there's not a player like Mark Wood who's going to come steaming in from Gujarat side. Having
Yeah.
said that, if they're able to manage the early Shami outburst, that's going to be important. Is the match happening in Delhi or is it happening in
It's happening in
Gujarat?
Delhi, Delhi.
So if it's happening in Delhi, then again someone like Rashid Khan is going to be very difficult to manage. I really want Delhi to try and play someone like Mushfiqur Rahman a lot more in their home ground because I think he can be lethal when it comes to Delhi. The kind of track that it is, it does tend to grip a little towards the end of an innings. I think he can do a very good job, and he's done well for them whenever he's come on.
He has done a decent job for them whenever he has come on as well. So that's going to be interesting to see who they go about. I think they'll go with Andre Nokia, the extra bit of pace, and try to damage Gujarat Titans with that pace. And that's quite possible. Maybe with to Rindiman Saha, maybe to someone like Sai Sudarshan, or whoever is going. I think Matthew Wade is going to play as well tomorrow because there is no Kane Williamson officially, right? Kane Williamson is ruled out. So that's going to be interesting. Or maybe David Miller might just walk into that team. It's going to be interesting to see how they go about it. But I really don't want to say Vijay Shankar there. Your thoughts, Sandipani? Do you reckon they're still going to go with Vijay Shankar at number 5 for them?
Ideally, I would not have Vijay Shankar. I would rather have Avinav Manohar come in place of Vijay Shankar, and David Miller will step in place of Kane Williamson. And talking about Delhi, I don't see a Mustafizur Rahman coming in anytime soon because even if you don't have Andrik Norke, I think they will go with Lungi and Gidi, who will be preferred ahead of Mustafizur Rahman right now. But yeah, I agree with you on the fact that he had been very successful whenever he got a chance. He has done his work to the needs that the team has asked him to do. Talking about Gujarat Titans, I still feel that even with David Miller in and probably Avinav Manohar coming in place of Vijay Shankar, their batting, I think, the middle order will have to click. I mean, they had such a successful season last time around. It was because of their bowlers. Firstly, because of their bowlers, and secondly, it was because of David Miller, Rahul Tewatia, Hardik Pandya, and Rashid Khan coming in that middle order. And no matter what the target was, whatever they were setting the total, I mean, they were going at it. And most of the times they were chasing down improbable targets just because the middle order was on fire. So that is something you will not see all the time, and there is still a lot of instability in that middle order. So I think David Miller should definitely come in and not a Matthew Wade because they need somebody at number 4 because you saw that the impact substitution that they made was Sai Sudarshan come in at number 3. So if you have a Riddhiman Shah and Shubman Gill who are going to open tomorrow, then you can have a Sai Sudarshan at 3, Hardik Pandya at 4, David Miller at 5, and then Abhinav Manohar as a finisher's role at 6, and followed by Rashid Khan and others. Rahul
I mean,
Tewatia.
absolutely. I mean, that sounds very good. Jaren, your thoughts for Delhi Capitals? You reckon they have to change a little bit, especially when it comes to the batting approach? They can possibly bring in Lalit Yadav, but can Lalit Yadav be the man for them?
I think with Lalit Yadav, I still don't think he is a complete player to play IPL yet. I still feels he needs a little bit of exposure. He still belongs on the bench. I think the batting order able again. I think they should at least try this out for a few matches and see if that's not working out for them. I understand your concerns, and obviously there are issues there, but I think that's not because of the way they selected their squad when they selected the 11. That's the way their option has gone, and we've criticized that already. I think now what's done is done. They can't really do anything, and probably the only change that I see is Phil Salt coming in for Riley Russo, which again I really don't think is going to change anything because I think Phil Salt again is a player who likes the top
So you,
order.
you are going to drop Rahman Powell.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying if there's any change, they will make it that. I just believe they shouldn't now. Give
But
him
I
a
think
give him
Andre
at least.
Nokia walks into that team instead of Chetan Sakaria for sure. So that
You
is a
need to
given.
replace a foreign player. I get your point now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in that case, it's going to be Lalit Yadav who's going to possibly take that position of Rahman Powell or maybe of Riley Russo. So I think Mitchell Marsh is a given as well because it's an Australian team management with Ricky Ponting and David Warner. So they will back the Aussie to the tilt, and that is Mitchell Marsh. And Mitchell Marsh, you know what he can do, right? On a good day, he can get going and he can give you that match-winning innings, and that's what you need in T20. If he can score a quick fire 70 or 60, that's going to possibly take the game away as well. I think that's about it from us for today. We have almost covered everything. We have covered tomorrow's game as well. Let's
But
come
I
back
would not
tomorrow.
drop a Chetan Sakaria. I think Chetan Sakaria, if he gets a chance, he'll come good tomorrow. Chetan Sakaria for tomorrow. I
You've
think
been a big
you
fan of
should drop
Chetan Sakaria,
Akashdeep.
isn't it?
So not Akashdeep, Mukesh
I think
You
Kumar.
I'm.
always supported Chetan Sakaria. I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah,
why.
I'll be
even though
honest.
Mukesh Kumar,
I'm on Sandipani's.
even though Mukesh
I'm on
Kumar,
Sandipani's side. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah,
Sandipani, go
even though
ahead.
Mukesh Kumar is from Bengal and Chetan Sakaria from Saurashtra, I'll still go with
Yeah,
a
why is that?
Chetan
Why
Sakaria. I
have you
still
always
support
supported
Chetan.
Chetan Sakaria? What is your liking towards him?
I
Are
think
you
he's
fan
a
of
very
Black
good death
Panther
overs
or
bowler.
something?
And I think it was just that one. He had a one-off day last time around. I think he's going to come back tomorrow. And I think his record in the IPL states otherwise. I think he's a definitely a starter in your playing 11. He's a
But he
Kartik
doesn't
Tyagi sort of a
excite me,
player
bro.
who will come
Chetan
in.
Sakaria doesn't excite me as a bowler. I mean, he's 125,
Come
135 left arm
on.
pacer. He doesn't excite me. I mean, someone
Come
who
on, man.
really excites me,
He if
Arshdeep excited me. Arshdeep
I think
excited me. For me,
yeah, definitely.
yesterday, Arshad Khan
Arshdeep
yesterday
is something
excited me.
else.
Chetan Sakaria can't bat as well much, so it doesn't really
But I
excite
will
me as
rate
a
I will rate Chetan Sakaria
commodity.
even higher than Khalil. I think
No, no, no,
Chetan
no.
Sakaria should
Khalil
be
Ahmed
rated higher
excites
than
me.
Khalil Ahmed.
Khalil Ahmed excites me. He can ball
Khalil
high
Ahmed,
140s and he can hit Yorkers. He's a much improved bowler right now. But Chetan Sakaria doesn't really excite me. I don't know why.
oh,
He's
okay.
he's just
I
one of
mean,
those
we'll just see
IPL
tomorrow.
bowlers. He's more like
If
Siddharth
Chetan
Trivedi kind
Sakaria
of
plays
bowler.
tomorrow, you be ready for a surprise. If Chetan Sakaria plays
I
tomorrow,
think
be ready for a surprise.
I'll be honest.
He'll have better Khalil Ahmed
I'll
for
just
sure.
add to that, right? I think I love Chetan Sakaria. He's the kid's got heart in him, man, and
He's got heart in him, but he doesn't excite me is the thing, right? He doesn't
but that's the
excite
thing,
me as a
April. He doesn't
commodity.
have
If
to.
if I have to replace someone tomorrow, it's gonna be Chetan Sakaria. Mukesh Kumar gives me that extra bit of option to pick up wickets. He's got that extra bit of pace as well. So Mukesh Kumar is a given.
But if Enric Norke comes in, Enric Norke will bowl in the overs that Mukesh Kumar bowled in. Chetan
I
Sakaria
don't
and
think
Khalil
so.
Ahmed will be our opening
Yeah,
bowlers. Yeah, Chetan
I
Sakaria
don't
is an
know,
opening
man.
bowler. Enric Norke will not open the bowling with you along with Khalil Ahmed. I think they have just faced a power cut. Yeah, so I'll just reiterate my point over there because I feel that a Chetan Sakaria and Khalil Ahmed are opening bowlers for the side, and yeah, they were taken aback by the onslaught that Lucknow Super Giants and Kyle Mayers in particular put in. But I feel that if you have a Enric Norke coming in, he will bowl those overs in the fifth over and probably after the power
Yeah,
play. Yeah, I just told them that you had a power cut because you were
yeah,
banked on not getting
yeah.
Chetan
I
Sakaria
know
out of
it's
the team.
raining in
Yeah,
Bangalore, unfortunately. I think you also faced one before sometime. So
yeah.
yeah, it's weird. It's weird. It's just typical Bangalore. Whenever it rains, it just goes off.
But Chetan Sakaria
But
tomorrow, I think if you are playing fantasy picks tomorrow, I think just answering Pratiksha over there, I think David Warner is a must. David Warner, obviously, as your captaincy picks, David Warner, I'll really suggest.
you reckon David
Rashid
Warner
Khan, once
is a
again,
good option because he has a negative matchup against Mohammad Shami.
he has a negative matchup against Mohammad Shami, but the last time the two teams met, I think he was able to counter Mohammad Shami, especially because they did not have a very high total to chase. So it all depends on if David Warner is batting first or if Delhi Capitals does not have a very high total to chase. I think David Warner will come good for them. David Warner needs some
Yeah.
time to settle down. I think he is at that age where he can only play at a standard of 150 if you have favorable circumstances.
Absolutely. I mean, that's going to be very interesting to see how that game goes. Having said that, I think we'll end this live right here. Thank you for joining, everyone. I know it's been not that long of a live from what we usually do, but it's just one game to cover and tomorrow's game as well. So thank you, Sandeep Bani, for joining as well. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's a big game. It's going to be very important for Delhi to get off the mark. You don't want one team to be, just at the bottom of the table. You want things to be balanced out. As Chennai won today, you'll be expecting Delhi wins, and it's
Exactly
1-1.
like how KKR is going to balance it out against RCB.
That's possibly not going to happen, but either way, I knew you would bring that up. So take care,
Yeah.
everyone. See you all tomorrow. Bye bye.
Good night, guys.